So I messed up. Oh, hold on, sorry. Last time I got an heirloom, I decided to get the crow. So let's see if we can get him a little friend, huh? Huh? All right, let's go. Part the seas for me, Moses. God is real! You know, it is times like these where I wish I was attracted to dudes. Being able to build a family together, share my life with them, and maybe not even have that intimate part of the relationship, just being completely fulfilled with busting ass. Oh, hey yo, being badasses together in life. Um, but you know, you can find that in a girl too. We just can't keep acting like we don't need them. You know, I don't know who started it. You know, the ladies talking about, I'm an independent woman, I don't need no man, and dudes getting fed up with the games that girls play because they're better at it than we are. But you know, for those of us that were born straight, sorry, you're fighting against nature there. That's a losing battle. That's just not going to happen. It really was just a big misunderstanding. We started vilifying each other on the internet and started taking it to the extreme. You know, media in college, it's just kind of a melting pot for horny people. Rabbit season over there. But then, you know, if you think back to the time when you were a kid, what about when you were getting chased by the honeys then? We've all been cute kids before. You've all experienced that. There was just something in between then and now that's changed, and we got to figure out what it is. It all just became one big rumor that dudes suck and ladies play games. I mean, those are true statements, but it doesn't happen all the time. It's like one person whispered it in someone else's ear, and then by the time it got to the end of the line, it's got a completely different message. Look, the ladies don't hate us. They're just puzzled. They're just puzzled. I get it. We started to love ourselves a little bit too much. If that makes sense. Like we got a little selfish about it and taking that self improvement train many stops too far. I should have gotten off at Dutch. No brakes on that shit, man. So many of us took that thing way, way, way too far. You know what? Like, make sacrifices where you got to make them in your life, but don't fight nature. Don't fight your social life. That's dangerous. We just haven't had the chance to caught up. We just haven't had the chance to catch up, in my opinion. A lot of things have been blown out of proportion by the internet, and you know, people are starting to wake up to it a little bit, slowly but surely. We're noticing these things because you can't fight human nature. You know, they can throw these phones at us and put messages in our face and adjust our algorithm to make us feel a certain way about each other. But at the end of the day, they're not gonna actually be able to fight what we really want. I think what might help is that we both just need to get a grip and say hi to each other again. Just try to become friends with one another. It's not always a conquest for a man or for a woman.
Put a bad bitch in the friend zone. Oof, that's the most effective way to get a girl. Make her your buddy. I really shouldn't have gave that up.
You can be friends with them. It's very possible. Maybe it starts with like an initial attraction. But like, you know, if you're not a good match, so what? Be friends. You can wingman, wingwoman for each other. It's no big deal. Uh, I might have one of those on the line from last week. I may have stumbled a little bit. Sure, the worst she can say is no, but what's the worst thing that can happen with you? You don't know what to say. You stumble. What happens? Well, you know, if you're like me, you say, "Hi, I haven't seen you here before. I was wondering when." I literally choked. I literally choked. I said, I haven't seen you here before. I was wondering if you wanted to get a something. That's how I said it. And my throat closed up. And I froze there, and she was really sweet about it. She didn't like shoo me away or laugh at me or anything, but you know, I felt like I couldn't really recover from that. So I you know, just did a little bit of small talk, was like, oh yeah, like, you know, your hat is super cool. I was looking for, you know, a birthday gift for my cousin. I was just thinking of like decent ways to exit the conversation at that point. And I played it off like I was just trying to be your homie. Like, all right, you know, like maybe I'll see you here another time. We got a set in, and that was it. I dapped her up, and we were out of there. Oh, dude. I got her number, but I'm not gonna text her. Kind of hard to put a finger on exactly what caused this giant shift in our attitudes with each other. I like to think it's like a couple things, right? College, media, and politics. You know, college is like a very easy place to meet new people and get into a relationship. It's a lot of people's first, intimate experience there as well. So then when you leave college, it's like, oh shoot, like it was all just handed to me on a silver platter, and now where am I supposed to go to make friends? The media, of course, just blew things out of proportion. We started vilifying each other, making fun of one another on the internet, and then someone takes it too far or doesn't take the joke and then builds a platform off of it, and then comments flood it. And then before you know it, a bunch of people are in a bad mood for a week and looking at each other funny. Politics, I'd like to hope that it's not a big deal in people's relationships, at least in the early stages. If you're thinking about like going really steady, like, okay, I can understand that. If you have fundamentally different views on how the world should work, how social structures should be adjusted, and how money moves about, okay, I get it, fine. You're a little bit different there. But if you can work it out, great. And I think it can be worked out. I've got plenty of friends that don't have the same political views as me, and it's just not worth discussing. If they bring it up, like, I just start to give them stupid answers because they'll never be able to convince me otherwise, and vice versa. If things still feel weird in your circle or in your environment, then try to be the one to change it. Think about a time when you were rolling, man. What were you doing that had the honeys chasing you when you were a kid? We've all been a cute kid before. You've been chased down. Don't act like it hasn't happened. Don't act like it hasn't happened. But seriously, fundamentally, if you think back to that spot, you were probably super chill, probably the best at basketball on the street, and maybe had like the coolest, longest hair. Who knows? Who knows what it was? But there was something about you back then. It doesn't matter what year it was, what time period of your life it was. There was some point in your life where it felt like it was all together. And it could have been when you were a kid, it could have been when you were a teenager or in college. Think back about that time when you feel like you peaked maybe. Do a little bit of that mental journaling and see if you can figure out what about you, what you were carrying about yourself that people were so attracted to. Even dudes, man, even the same sex, like I've noticed that sometimes, like, when I'm in a bad mood and don't want to be around people, they don't want to be around me either, and rightfully so. I don't like to be that guy, but sometimes that battery gets low, man. So I've literally sat there and like tried to have a mental switch telling myself, I'm gonna have a good time. I'm out here already. I'm with some of my friends. Let's put a smile on the face and see what happens. And usually I end up having a good time because I told myself I was going to. That's also just a very, very simple fix, smiling at people on the streets. You'd be surprised at how many people are just looking at the floor or like could really use to see a smile. Most of the time what happens is that you'll smile and they'll look at you, and then they'll like give you a second glance so that they don't feel like an asshole and give you a smile back. People are nice. They are. Nobody out here wants to be in a bad mood. Everyone's just got a lot of crap going on in their lives, and I get it. If someone looks at you funny when you give them a smile, that's their problem.